Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 467, and today we're doing battle with Norra Janna. And so it should be pretty straightforward. The high-level strategy that we're trying to pull off with Norra Janna, Norra and her kit shuffling the portals into the deck, letting us hit those boons for the free units, if you will, with the mysterious portal. And then as we have those portals shuffled into our deck, we would like to draw our cards just a little bit quicker so that we can get to those portals just a little bit quicker. And so that's where the Janna kit is going to start to hit. And so we have Janna, the Exalted Cloudwinders, and the Divine Whirlwinds as additional ways to draw cards. Not Divine Whirlwind, Eye of the Storm does the card draw, but nonetheless, you get the idea. We're going to be shuffling portals in, drawing a bunch of cards, using that card draw to hit the portals faster. And so the things that I like to call out with this deck are it's very safe to just throw away a lot of your cards to prevent damage from your opponents. And so the most common decks in the format right now involve a bunch of Nilah, they involve a bunch of Samira. The Samira Janna decks are the most popular deck in the meta right now. We can outcard advantage all this stuff easily. If you're out here, trading with a junk construct, getting a portal, and then trading off of the portaled unit, and then we have all of the card draw on top of it, we can outcard advantage, outgrind just pretty much any aggro deck in the format, and a lot of this just comes down to not dying. And so what you're going to see us doing in a lot of these games, we're not going to say, hey, I want to come out here and I can't make this block because I'm going to take card disadvantage. I can't throw my Windborn Mariner in front of a blocking Badger Bear because I'm going to take card disadvantage. We're going to throw a lot of those ideas out of the door, out of the window as well, out of the structure, out of the building, and we're just going to say, hey, I'm going to do everything I can to prevent every single point of damage that my opponent's going to deal to me. And I know if the game continues to grind on, we're just going to continue to draw cards. We're going to continue to produce portals, and we'll win the game eventually if we get to just continue to come out here and grind. And so that's the main idea with the deck. I think of it as kind of a three-pronged attack, if you will. Number one, prong number one, pillar number one, we have all of this anti-aggro kind of stuff. And so we have all of the portal generators, the junk constructs, the Octo Adventurer being a fantastic blocker. Pillar number two is we have all of this card advantage and all of this card draw from the likes of Janna and the Eye of the Storms. And then pillar number three is we get a bunch of free stuff, or a bunch of cheap stuff at least, right? And so once we get that portal into the deck, that's going to produce 2 or 3 mana for free. If we have the 2 drawn cards, then we get to play the Exalted Cloudwinder on the cheap, or we get to play the Windborn Mariner on the cheap. And then the various updrafts we have with Janna and Mariam and the Sunken Temple gives us just a lot of opportunity to cheapen everything throughout our deck. And if we can get to the point to where we can really spew off all of those cheapened cards, then we're going to be in pretty good shape. And so again, as you play this deck, the main thing you're going to try to do is just not take damage. Give up card advantage, fine. Do whatever it takes. Just prevent the damage coming at you, and then as the game grinds on, we should be okay. And so that's it. That's the deck. That's what we're doing battle with today. But before the battles begin, you know what we got to do? We got to pay that pay-to-win price. And where are you at, Exalted Cloudwinder? You are the premium guy today. The most premium bird without the bird subtype I've ever seen. Let's go ahead and get him on into battle. I wonder why that guy's not a bird. Like, looking at the art, it's clearly a bird. Maybe it's a griffin or a sky eagle or something, you know? It's a pterodactyl with feathers. It's not a bird. And so I could see that. Poor Nico needs a little bit of help, man. So it's too bad it's not a bird for her. I guess in terms of Warden of the Tribes, he doesn't need too much help, though. So maybe it's for the best that it's not a bird. But speaking of Warden of the Tribes, that's kind of one of the pain points typically for decks like this, right? If you want to think to back in the day to where you would have a lot more Norra decks running around, the thing that you would kind of run into is if your opponent was just like a little bit slower than you, there wasn't too much you could actually do about it. And so what I mean by that is if we are playing like Norra deck that could win on turn 7, there would always just be a Norra deck that could do it a little bit slower than you and just win on the next turn. And so that timing was a little bit off, but it's something like you would see Norra Vhagar come in and overwhelm the smaller Norra decks and the like. But all right, up against the cup is mine with Jack, Nilah, the full-on, the full-on crew, if you will, of brash units coming at us. Again, what are we going to do this game? We're just going to prevent all the damage that we can. So we'll go ahead and send that Mystic Shot in. Not the finest of targets, I admit, but I feel okay going ahead and taking it down. Now, one of the interesting things with Octo Adventurer is he can block the brash units, but do we want to go ahead and drop him now, or would we rather just drop in the Norra? I'm leaning towards Norra. The bummer that we have next turn regardless is we want to play Janna and we want to play Howling Gale, but we don't have the mana to do it all. And so it's kind of painful there, but I think I'm okay with the risky venture coming in. Just slow. He's not getting his aggression on board, and we're going to get the time to Janna now. Do we want a Janna? We could play the Adventurer to just prevent the damage, but I think this first Jack hit I'm not super worried about at the moment. Are we going to be able to build up to 5 next turn, though? I don't think so. Let's do this. It's kind of dangerous. Man, this is tough. Like, I would like to be able to Howling Gale Jack next turn, and if we want a Howling Gale for 5... we need to play the full 3 cards, and we can play the Windborn Mariner, we can play the Pytos, but like giving up on Eye of the Storm is kind of scary, given that we don't have any more card draw in our hand. But maybe we could have just assumed that something we'll draw off of Janna will be cheap enough to where we'll get the Howling Gale. I don't know. I don't like having to go that crazy with it. All right, spell number 1. Windborn Mariner. I mean, I guess we can just Pytos and Howling Gale. Just it sucks. Like you can see how painful it is not having that card draw spell now. As we roll into this next turn, we're hurting for card quality. Rip Janna. Yeah. Make a sad noise for your boy Bust. Not keeping that card draw kind of sucks. We got all the removals. I mean, we're 1 card draw away from really just popping off again, so maybe it's not that bad, but I'm not excited about this stuff. But you never know what you're going to draw. We could have picked up like 3 birds there and then just been like, ooh. Ooh, we did not need that card draw.
Joy is a good look in a book and a cat in the lap.
But that was a fairly easy pass on the previous turn. Opponent just has to have a hand like either completely full of removal, or I think if they had like the 6 drop, the Nilah Boat, like why wouldn't you just play Nilah Boat on that turn? And so maybe they just have a handful of like Mystic Shots and garbage. Like, I don't suspect this Norra's gonna survive very often, but them giving up on the opportunity to attack is kind of strange. Wait, she's just gonna get Mystic Shot or something? Oh my god. What is going on?
I've come a long way for a fight. Don't let
No, but we definitely want to start clearing some of this out. It's like Jack is kind of the safer one to leave around until next turn, but he's also about to level up. So let's see how awkward this goes. If you're not familiar with what the Howling Gale can do, we can target Jack with the Howling Gale, and then as the Gale is on the stack, if say opponent did something to flip Jack with the Howling Gale on the stack, we could look to just play another spell, and that would be the means that would take the Howling Gale up to 5. Let's actually go ahead and do this. Do it this way so he doesn't get the coin in hand. Like if we do the Pytos, let the unit die, he gets the coin, then we play the Howling Gale, he's going to have that coin in hand he could heal his Jack with. portal lands, giving us that sweet, sweet boom baboon. Not really that sweet, but you know. Sometimes you just gotta take what you can get.
Now our celebration can truly begin.
So do we ever just want to smoke down this Tide Dancer? They coins at focus speed, Nilah's in hand. If he adds Nilah to the board, then we can't really react to this thing, and so I think we're just kind of stuck at this point. Yeah, we gotta draw a card draw so bad.
Nilah, make time for reverie between fights.
My regrets have been huge. I want my card draw spell back.
Hey, which way to spiritual fulfillment?
So what do you all think the chances our opponent has Mystic Shot? I think I'm okay with soaking a Mystic Shot if he's got it onto the Adventurer. Because the thing I want to be able to go into this next turn, and I want to hook Vikrash out of combat with the Flame Chompers, and then get the damage in with Norra. And so it's like, if he's going to be playing removal spells, I would much rather him spend removal spells on the Octo Adventurer than I would him spend removal spells on onto Norra. With this, it's kind of tough in the sense that I want to play Gotcha onto Nilah, but I don't want to give him a chance to play another Vikrash.
Many dangers lie ahead, little one. Can I count on you?
All right, well, we're in decent shape. We've survived through quite a lot. The thing that I'll say with this board is we do have a ton of draw twos in our deck, and so if we can actually pick up a draw two, we'll be right back in it. Eye of the Storm, perfect draw.
I've been around. Let's go again.
All right, now we're doing stuff. Now we're cooking, right?
May Janna's will be done through me.
Hit some portals and stuff. There you go. I'm ready to block now. I'm ready to party. I'm ready to party. That's all we needed. Just needed that little nugget right there at the edge, right at the end.
Cup of tea? Fine by
Let's add Norra. We can Durandi Architect the Norra next turn and threaten quite a bit. No. Maybe that's not as awesome as I want it to be. Not as awesome as I want it to be.
Duran build the best.
You need humbling.
Yeah, we should have just added Junk Construct. I got so excited, but hopefully this still works out. I'm happy to make trades anywhere through here, and so
Nah, not a chance.
I get too excited. Too excited. I'd love to be attacking with a Junk Construct right now. Whoops. Get this overwhelming Wharf Rat, though. Does not get the rat subtype. That's all we're talking about today. Subtypes across the board. But you got ain't no place bloodier in Bilgewater than the Bay. Just look at them rats. Reared on blood. They are. Can't get enough of the stuff. Creepy little scrits. Jagged Butcher, talking a lot. Talking quite a bit out here, Jagged Butcher. You've got a lot of line of text on your card. Alright, Norra down.
Portaling away.
We should probably hang on to this junk construct as well. I've kind of started fading here, but it's like if we draw Janna, we need the 2 cards in hand to updraft, and we don't currently have them. So he's going to get to put a Slipstream into deck, but the rest of his attacks aren't spectacular. Alright, well, I'm not willing to overwrite anything for these units. We got to kind of grind out with what we still have. So we have a block onto Nilah. We have a block onto the Castaway. Those things are all fine. Can't block the other Brash unit to the right. That'll be okay.
Your wickedness shall not prosper.
Alright. I think I'm just gonna pass. Like, we're not gonna run out of mana. Maybe we can add Octo Adventurer. Oh yeah, we have 1 portal. Pick up the Quicksand just in case. This Nilah's kind of annoying.
What terrorizes you? Take me to them!
Ooh, we drew our Explorer's Blunder. Just what we needed. Just what we wanted. We got our second one.
I seize the initiative!
So, uh-oh.
Fresh start. Just looking for a sign.
So, I mean, the thing that we can do that's kind of interesting here is we do have the Durand Architect with the Octo Adventurer, and we can look towards this as a way to say Quicksand Vikrash and then hit for 6, and then we're getting to the point to where we can maybe burn them out. Problem is we can't do that across 2 turns, and then, but I think this attack is still okay. Like, I'm willing to send in our units that can't block a Brash unit. So I think we send in like this. Because blocks aren't any good on these units. If he wants to trade these units away, I'm completely fine with it. The Octo Adventurer is going to stay big enough to block a Brash unit. I think that's good. And then we can look to weaken out the Nilah next turn. So much card draw. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I had in my head that this deck is just not being as aggressive as I typically thought it would be, or what the deal is there. If it's just we have this like really awkward draw, but feels like things are going weird. Now it's like we're gonna roll into this next turn and just draw a Yeti. Like, I don't want to draw a Yeti. I want to draw a card.
Always got what I wanted.
Insane.
Now I gotta find what I need.
Perhaps the answer lies in others,
Like, I don't feel like we've given up on. I don't know. It's just that one card, that one cycle thing. It's just so insane that this like opposing deck. It's not. It's just doing so much more than I've expected. I guess they've hit like 3 or 4 slipstreams though, and that's not what we're really accounting for. Insane. Why not draw some more formulas? I don't I don't know. I don't know at what point we're supposed to say, all right, well, they got the better of it than we did. Like, that's wild. What did we end up drawing? We drew 2 Eye of the Storms. I don't think we drew did we draw Janna that game? I don't know. That was wild. It's just crazy seeing it roll through like that. I feel like we're in that space to where we should just be able to out-card advantage that deck so hard. Like, I know that there were points of the game there in the middle where we're kind of like, LOL, watch this. I'm going to I'm going to spend 3 removal spells on Jack. But, man, it's just wild how painful that actually was. All right, though, up against Drissoth, doing battle with the Illaoi Vayne. I think our Norra should be pretty safe here on turn 2, but this deck sometimes plays Badger Bears, so I don't know how safe she's going to be after this turn. That was wild, though, right? That was wild. So do we want to keep protecting our Norra? It's kind of tough at this point to where like, we can Pie Toss and Howling Gale to kill the Scholarly Pioneer, but if he has a combat trick, it fails. And then if he has a like a single combat or something, it feels pretty worthless. So let's just pass. If we end up taking the bank into next turn, I'm pretty okay with it. And now we can just add in the Teamaker. We got 2 portals in there. Didn't hit any portals this turn. We'll just take it slow. We'll add in Janna after the combat. Say, watch all these units come on the board. Instead of doing that, is there a space to where we would rather play Mariam, and then when we have 8 mana next turn, we can look to... Well, you can't Portal Palooza and Janna, right? That's one too short. Maybe we just get rid of the Howling Gales here. Or let's actually take it this way. I'm going to drop in the Pie Toss. Just go ahead and get the crappier spell in hand, and then we'll just spend all of our mana now that we have Janna. And then if he hooks down Janna next turn, it kind of is what it is. I think I'm okay with it. And then I guess we'll just hang on to every card that draws cards, right? I know that we're in a different matchup now, but man, that was insane last game, right? Oh boy, we hit a Stony Suppressor. Not certain how I feel about that. Maybe Drissoth's out there going curses. I was going to drop the Tentacle Slam this turn. I was going to Illaoi Tentacle Slam, and the Stony Suppressor is hit. Curses to RNGesus. Dad, he says, no. Stony Suppressor, you are problems. You are problems, my friend. Alright, let's just prevent it. I'm leaning towards... Like, this is still just a Janna in hand. I'd like to hang on to Janna. I don't feel like she's very safe right now, so I'd like to have her stick around if we can. I do want to add Mariam in, though. So let's just updraft away the expensive Howling Gale. See what else we can get going here real quick.
Makes my burdens lighter.
That stony suppressor causing problems for everyone.
Not even I know what I'm cooking up.
Do the kids still dune surf back in Shurima?
Wait, you? Oh, I love that for you.
I wonder, this doesn't count as a reduced cost card anymore, does it? Since it has that, since it has the suppressor cost attached to it. I don't think it does.
Guess we're doing this the ugly way.
Oops on your head.
I don't know. I kind of want those reduced cost cards back now. I kind of want it back. I don't like how this looks anymore. Like I'm fine with chunking the damage onto Combat Cook. We have the Eye of the Storm in hand, but I think I want to save this until next turn. We can still just leave the Combat Cook on board and block him with Mariam. Now, the cards I'm more interested in are the Sea's Voice and the Tentacle. So that's the kind of space I'm looking to remove stuff now. I guess a valid question is, do we want to like quicksand Illaoi this turn? I'm not particularly excited about it. I do like having the quicksand in hand, but I don't think we want to play it this turn. I will let the Illaoi run free.
Storm unrelenting.
Pots a boiling.
Not another step. My wind is at your back. Go.
What do we got now? A Tea Maker and a Gotcha. Oh my god, do we just want to get this Stony Suppressor off the fucking board? like that's valid, right? This thing has just caused so many fucking problems. Let's just get this out of here. I think the suppressor has hurt us way more than it's hurt Drissoth here. He's probably over here like, no, I'm gonna keep the suppressor around. I'm not letting you get that nonsense out of here. That's some bullshit there. Let's see how it goes. I would still like to get this damage onto Illaoi. We need to get her off the board eventually. You have to go. He goes, "Fuck you, Bust. Keep the suppressor." So I see what's causing you problems, my dude. Nonsense. How much have we spent on this thing? Let's just bitch about everything, man. The guy in the last round just hitting all the card draw. Now the suppressor. Drissoth dropping the FUs, saying, "Nah, you can't get rid of that." I'm gonna leave that on board. It's been interesting in the sense that I'm always looking for ways to kind of battle against Janna and get an edge in the Janna matchups. And I've been a big fan of Mageseeker Jr. Over recent times. I'm just not a fan of Mageseeker Jr. against Janna. It doesn't quite do enough. To whereas it's like playing against Samira, it just gets a pretty hard shutdown on Samira. It's like if Samira wants to like get into combat with a Mageseeker Jr. and play a 3-mana flare and then play a 3-mana all out, like you're fine. You're just like, okay, whatever. I'll accept everything that's happened there. But it's like the junior just doesn't quite do enough, especially as like a lot of the reduced stuff you get out of Janna comes in the form of units, and so Your opponent goes, LOL, watch this. I'm going to Keeper of Masks, interesting. As they say, I'm gonna just hit you with units and not even really worry about the spells getting increased in cost. Alright, let's send in the squad. Feel like we should be able to deploy some damage here and then get some Howling Gales in. On the expensive. What a load of bullshit. Another thing to kind of watch out for here is we can't take this tough off of Illaoi, right? We have the Explorer's Blunder, but the tough is coming off of the Panapane. So it's not going to be quite enough to take her down. We'll need a full 5 damage Howling Gale to try and kill Illaoi here. Says, alright, I'm ready to cast a spell. It's spell time, bust. Oh, man. What a bunch of nonsense that was. Oh, this is going to be a giant cataclysm to heal Illaoi. That's pretty good. Our Howling Gales are too weak at this point. Okay, let's at least take away her Overwhelm. If he wants to make a Cataclysm play this turn and heal the Illaoi up a bunch, I'm fairly okay with that, but we can't let Illaoi like attack for whatever this is, 12, and then count as damage from that way. Oh, this is going to be brutal. Don't think we're going to be able to wear her down enough. Maybe we should have sent that Howling Gale at the Tentacle. Oh shit. Going big. Because right now the Tentacle's just going to heal Illaoi and it's like we didn't even deal any damage. That was kind of nonsense. Alright, Paloose me some portals. What do we got? Kamaver and Soldier coming in. Bring in the Tea Maker. I don't think we can recover out this one. Illaoi is going to be too much. Alright, GG. Ugh, that's tough. It's like there's so many sides of the coin there in terms of what you're getting out of the like the Stony Suppressor in this match, right? It's like, if we're playing this and it's like, okay, we hit Bird and we hit the 3-1 quick attack and we hit the 3-1 quick attack, we're just like, wow, that Stony Suppressor was spectacular. We made him spend the extra mana on a Tentacle Slam. We made him spend the extra mana on a spell. But with the way that our hand sequenced out there, when we just drew just actual complete spells over and over and over again with that, it was just such a pain in the dick. Like, I don't know how else you're supposed to get around that. That was just you know, we drew the wrong half of our deck. Probably played our spells in the wrong order as well, but it's so disconcerting having that unit come out of nowhere. All right, up against the Wildfire deck, we're definitely not keeping Sunken Temple. This is one of these matches where I just want as much early game stuff as possible. The Zeds are ultra susceptible to Mystic Shots. They don't actually play combat tricks or anything. They only play Wildfires, and then they play the spell that draws the spell that draws additional spells. So I'm going to go ahead and Pie Toss here. Like, I don't suspect we're going to you know, just be in the spot to Perilous Pastry, but I would rather, like, if opponent plays a 2-1 right now, and then we can just Perilous Pastry the 2-1, I'd rather keep the Mystic Shot for a Zed or something a little bit stronger. I'll pick the heal out of this. There is some argument to pick up the quicksand. This deck does have quite a few elusives in it, but I think we're in pretty good shape as far as our hand is concerned here. And we'll just take the heal. It's very tough to actually get this Octo Adventurer off the board. Look at that aggro time. Who's bringing the first points of damage this game? It's Bust. I got my damages ready with Octo Adventurer. Interesting Mariner. It's like I'm curious if he makes a play, if he adds a card, then we have the chance to boost the Octo Adventurer and get the Windborn Mariner on the board. Pretty powerful.
What we do is so much bigger than us both.
All right, we're just gonna be too slow. Like, there's literal nothing we can do on this turn. We're just gonna get domed. Like, there's a little bit of argument to just go ahead and add the Mariner. Maybe that's what we do. Like, my concern is like, well, I want to play Janna and just block some stuff, but it's like if he goes 1-drop here, we're gonna take so much damage. So let's do this. Let's just actually lead out with Pastry. We'll drop it on the Precious Pet. Then if he has more units this turn, we could play the Mariner and just block the stage hand. Like, I think I'm fine enough with that. Again, like, if this game drags on, we're going to be completely fine. It's just a matter of finding time. So we take 6? Sure.
Forgive me.
So this, I think we need to keep the Eye of the Storm. did we learn our lesson in that first game to where we said, okay, maybe I'll hang on to my maybe I'll hang on to my card draw, especially once we've gotten Janna on board. Wildfiring right now? Doesn't seem very appealing. Alright. Send that point of damage at us. And he can't flip this turn, so we'll just go ahead and attack. He never blocks, but we'll Howling Gale her down. I definitely don't want to see Annie flip. Which, it's not entirely on the table, but we'll get to start to pop off next turn.
My tempest shall punish the wicked.
Is ready with that open attack on the next turn. Ah, man, this is so close now. Like, that was a... If he has another Rejuvenating Breeze, like, I haven't watched the order that the cards came out of his hand, but if he has another Rejuvenating Breeze, and that's going to draw a 4 and a 5 damage, it's going to leave us at 1. Ah, these cards are nonsense. We're going to have a really tough time actually closing this game out anytime soon. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Okay. So we can fight through it a little bit. We do have the refreshments in hand.
Wind need not be seen to move our world.
Leap of faith, huh? You'll catch me, right?
Let's see where we're at in terms of damage, right? We've got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's short.
Got what I wanted. Now I gotta find what I need.
Junk
Perhaps
Construct
the
turns
answer
up.
lies in others, not yourself.
It's just not... He doesn't get us close enough to the lethal. All right, we'll have to focus out the refreshments next turn. We can't let him just cast a burn spell right out the gates.
My wind is at your back. Go. I cast thee out.
All right, so we can take him to 5, and then we can drop double Cloud Winders and see if the burn turns up. That's as good as we can do. Oh, are we just dead? We're just dead, aren't we? Okay. This is like one of the most frustrating matches for me to ever play against. It's like okay, you cast your Rejuvenating Breeze. Did you hit the RNG? Perfect. Good job. I do not enjoy playing that one. All right, on to the next one. Oof, it's been painful. I had higher expectations for Norra today in my. This is a game like I've played this deck essentially over the entirety of the weekend, and it hasn't had like a spectacularly high win rate, but it's done better than what we're kind of showcasing today. All right, reasonable enough start. We'll get rid of the Tea Maker. It doesn't quite interact as much as I want. And so now that we're in this spot to where we can pie toss Construct and then have the Octo Adventurer turn up, I think that's a pretty reasonable curve. We needed to start finding some card advantage after our initial flurry of stuff here. All right, we're ready. This could be it. This could be the game where we achieve a victory. Who knows? Maybe it is. Maybe it could be. I'm leaning towards just getting rid of the Mariner. Like, I mean, maybe we could get rid of the Junk Construct. The Mariner is quite good if we ever get to draw 2. You just pick up Janna. That's kind of nice. Okay. I don't hate it. Now it's I want to add in the Tea Maker more so because it generates the portal. Like, I don't think it's going to run into like spectacular plays, but I'm willing to trade it with any of this stuff. Like, I think it's still a fair, win for us if next turn he spends the Flare to hook the Tea Maker out of combat. Like, I think at that point it's already done everything we wanted to do. Let's hang on to our mana. You have to worry a little bit about the stagehand coming down, but like, he's not nearly as scary at this point. Adventure and the heal looks good. Let's force his hand at this point. Ooh, well, I thought we had an additional mana. Didn't force as much as I was hoping to. I thought we might get the chance to pastry down one of these smaller units, but it's not the case.
Embrace your fate as I have mine.
All right, the stagehand is in. So we'll be taking 4 on the round. It's fine to give up these units here. Just got to prevent all the damage. We'll hook the Tea Maker, we'll block the stagehand.
Your wickedness shall not prosper. It's 10.
It's 16. It feels like 16 should be healthy, but maybe we've learned a lesson or two in how unsafe it is against the Wildfire deck. Oh, man. So I'm leaning towards Portal Palooza and the Howling Gale. The Howling Gale's slow, and so I think You know, it's like as we go into next turn, we just kind of need fast spells. It seems like a spot where opponents going to be like, "Hey, cool, watch this. I'm about to drop a bunch of units on board and open attack." And so I don't think we're really going to have the time to get the Cloudwinder and the Mariner down. And we're in kind of the same space to where, you know, if we're outing Cloudwinders to the board, that's at the same speed as that Divine Whirlwind or whatever that thing's called. The Howling Gale. These cards are just way too similar. Riot said, watch this. We're going to name one card Lightning Storm. We're going to name one card Lightning Blast. We're going to name one card Lightning Thunder. Lightning Fury. We're going to give them all similar art, and they're all going to deal damage. Get ready. Alright, so we don't have any portals at this point. That's kind of a bummer, but we did pick up Divine Whirlwind to try and shoot down something. So we should be able to match him card for card in this combat. So it's like if he open attacks now, we can Divine Whirlwind. If he plays a unit, we can add a unit. He shouldn't be able to get bigger than us here. Flares it. Interesting.
You shall not assail them.
Alright, take 0, please. Again, this deck doesn't play combat tricks. We shouldn't have to worry about losing our Janna. I guess All Out. That's the one that gets me. That's one that'll throw you for a problem. We're gonna fall to 9. That's fucking annoying. He rally? There's a non-zero chance he rallies here.
Wind need not be seen to move our world.
Leap of faith, huh? You'll catch me, right?
It's got to be pretty close to 0, I think. Maybe it's more reasonable next turn, but I don't think we're particularly worried about rallies coming in.
Perhaps they just need a little push. Or a big one. Lift us up upon your
All right.
mighty wings, old friend.
See how many of these spells we can fight through.
Storm unrelenting.
Teammaker, I like seeing the Adventurer pop up. Give us another little bit of heal. And I think we just have to get all of our units on board at this point. 0 portal. I wanted to see if we could... I wanted to see if we could like just play Eye of the Storm and draw cards and hit a portal, but a little bit short there. That was a brutal crashing from that Samira on the last turn, though. It's so tough. Like, I've gotten blown out by that play before. It's like I get in my head that this opposing deck doesn't actually have any combat tricks in it, and it doesn't. It just plays the draw spell and the Wildfire, but when they have that second copy of Samira, I do admittedly forget about that sometimes. But about to have decent combats. I don't know how important the decent combats are here. If we're just gonna die to wildfires. But I mean, he hasn't played one yet. Like, he needs 3. 3 would be 6 damage. 4 would be 10. And then we have enough heal to where he should need 5. I don't know. I like to think we're safe, but I've clearly been wrong about that over and over and over again. Alright, then this will flip our Janna. So she's gonna be free to attack this round.
Shall the downtrodden
And this is where I want to stop. I don't think we want to play Pan of Pain here. Like, I do kind of want to keep this Howling Gale back in the event opponent has something like a Legion Saboteur. this is the state of our game. Like, I'm ready to take down the Legion Saboteur. Got my Howling Gale primed and ready to go. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, play faster, dude. We're trying to get more games in. Shouldn't take hours of thought for the Wildfire deck. Over here, he's over here trying to do bust math on his fingers. Okay, 1 Wildfire is 1, 2 Wildfires takes 3 fingers, 3 Wildfires takes 6 fingers, 4 Wildfires takes 10 fingers. That's the mathematics we're out here doing. All right, Wildfire number 1. Let's see how fun this can get.
Let this draft guide your hand.
I'm gonna fall asleep. do you all need recommendations on how to fall asleep faster? Just play against this guy with the Wildfire deck. Just here and do finger maths over and over again. I could start giving you some life advice if you need it. If you ever find yourself in that spot to where you're gonna purchase a home, or I guess it's even realistic if you're gonna be moving into an apartment. There's a thing that you'll find that you can use in life. It's very useful. It's called a bucket, and so you'll be surprised at the number of uses you'll find for this device called bucket. It's for me, it's like I just had some plumbing stuff to do. I had to change the floaty thing, the fill valve within a toilet. So very, very useful in that sense. I completed the task and it was great. So where are we at here? Hang on. Rejuvenating Breezes doesn't have any mana left. I think we're fucking finally done with this game. But you'll be surprised for the number of useful things. You go like, oh man, I've got this pile of dirty stuff. Put it in a bucket. I've got water somewhere. Put it in a bucket. So I need to carry all of this stuff from point A to point B. You know what you're going to do with it? You're going to put it in a bucket. And so I recommend getting a variety of sizes. And they're not very expensive. You can go to Home Depot. You can get one of those big orange buckets for like $3 or $4. You can get smaller buckets, $3 or $4 as well. You'll be impressed. You'll be surprised. And so some of you old fucks out there are just like, God, Bust, you're so smart. I wish I had you years ago to tell me how... tell me these amazing tips. Buy a bucket. Buy a headlamp. I'm glad to assist. I'm glad to bring it. Okay, so we're going to surpass the hour mark today. Some of these games have taken forever. The Cup is Mine game took forever. Wildfire guy decided he was going to be the feature of the show and just take fucking forever. And so take a little bit of time, but hopefully this game will be worth it up against the Volibear deck. And this is one to where, you know, it feels a little bit better than having to play against the... hang on, I played the wrong unit. I meant to play Norra. It feels better than playing against the... oh, what are you called? The... Warden of the Tribes deck. Jesus. And so there's the Gnar Jarvan Warden of the Tribes deck running around, and then there's this this Galio deck. I recommend, if you're playing this deck, you actually want to be playing Jarvan. I don't think Volibear is very good, but this deck has a lot of mid-rangey draws that you just can't answer. Like, it's very capable of just coming out and hitting you with like Balins, and then the Balins allow them to keep scaling, and we can't get enough cards on board to stop what they're trying to do. But
Come a long way together, haven't we, boy?
let's see here. I'm gonna take down the Durandi Sculptor, limit his health gain here, and then we'll Janna away these two slow spells. But I feel like this one's a little safer. You know, the opposing deck is much more capable of
You are not alone.
like getting those big high stat draws with Balin, but if they don't draw Balin, they're just kind of running at us with these units we don't care about. To whereas the Warden of the Tribes deck can kind of just LOL beat you at the end of the game. And so they're both very similar. They're both trying to do Mage Seeker Jr. kind of things. But
Wind need not be seen to move
at the end of the
our
day,
way.
I would prefer to play against Balin than play against that other deck.
Rethink your choices.
My wind is at your back. Go.
Alright, so we'll get Balin off of the board. We'll get this other elusive off of the board. It's a little awkward. I mean, we took down the blocking Badger Bear. I'd like to get Norra down now. See if we can't take in an open attack. We don't get to boost our Janna this way, right? As we would with the Tea Maker. But we do get to slap down on just a bunch of blockers this turn now. Load up triple portal and then Eye of the Storm next turn. I think I'm still on board with this. These units all suck. Just like if he's not scaling with Balin, I don't care. Like he can come down and Galio us this turn, which is going to be fairly awkward if he has it. Doesn't have it, beautiful. So I feel much safer at this point. He's gonna kill our Janna, probably. Like this Broadwing looks primed and ready to come and cause some shenanigans on our Janna, but I think we can manage. So let's just get dudes on board. Hit triple portal.
Your wind makes my burdens lighter.
All right. He does have Balin. Okay. Well, I'm fine to throw away all of our units. It's not that big of a deal. It's actually like if we keep the Dawn Speakers back, we get to boost all of this other stuff pretty reasonably. Right, so if we want to protect Janna and just block everything else,
Away with you.
don't quite need Norra. We fall to 4. But then we get to refill with 3 units that are going to grow to the Dawn Speakers. Like, I think this is fine. You can see what I mean, though, with the problems coming out of this Balin and providing the scaling. Like, it just gave him an additional 6 stats. We're out here trying to throw our stats into his stats and just outdo what he's doing with portals, but Balin lets him continue to grow.
Nothing can stop me.
Nothing can stop me, because I can't block. We appreciate that, Reckless Trifarian. Can't stop me, because I can't block. Alright, let's see if we can pop.
Fall in vain.
Redeemed Prodigy turns up. Sure.
I cast thee out.
See if we get something juicy in here with the Eye of the Storm. I'd love to get this Balin completely removed. He doesn't want to block. Not too surprised by that. So we'll take the only kill we can get down here to the right.
I am with you.
We got Eye of the Storm, Windborn Mariner. You can still play most of this stuff if we want to Eye of the Storm again. We're going to have to overwrite the Reckless Trifarian. Like, I definitely want to have blockers out here. Maybe we don't need to Eye of the Storm. We're going to draw a ton of cards. So we lose our Janna. It's not that big of a deal. And he's only got a handful of bad units left over. Okay. I accept. Alright, the Galio turns up. A moment short. Man, that's kind of a bummer in the sense that we could have like kept him from flipping had we played this other Eye of the Storm. Let's lead out with Mariam and see if we can't find a additional point of damage here. Nope.
Do the kids still dune surf back in Shurima?
Wait, you? Oh, I love that for you.
Alright, well, we can still block everything. He's gonna get the rally, but I think we're okay. we have 6 blockers, and so we're gonna draw a ton of cards, and we can refill everything that he does here. So I think it's fine. The next piece of downside with this is he's got this Balin on board that lets him keep growing and growing and growing, and so we've gotta try and take that thing down.
Nah, not a chance.
If we do this,
Another step.
we can double Mystic Shot the Balin, so he'll actually die. He'll have 3 units behind, and then we can still add more units to the board. Okay. The thing I don't like about Mystic Shotting here is we lose out on that kind of interactivity in the middle of combat, and so it's like if he starts adding units and stuff, we can run into some problems. But I think this is okay now. You can't get hooks in with the Broadwing. We have 1 Hallowed. It's like we've got the Norra now, so I want to start getting portals out of the Norra, but it might just be... No, let's just add Norra. She doesn't do anything here, though. All right.
By crook, I'll find you, dear cat.
All right.
Good look in a book and a cat in a lap.
Keep hope alive.
Your wickedness shall not prosper. Away with you.
Let's do one of these. Like we're gonna play double Portal Palooza next turn, and we need to ensure that we have units if that goes wrong. And so I would like to get the trades in here, but these units, they don't really matter anymore. He doesn't have the Balins on board, and so I think it's like if we double Portal Palooza and miss, we need to have these blockers back, which is kind of what we're getting here. So we miss on the first one. We can pivot to playing an Eye of the Storm instead, which I kind of like. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. Let's just Portal Palooza and then... oh god, we just hit deep. We hit a deep guy, right? Hit the beast from below. Yeah, I think that's okay. How bad is this? Shield of Durandi. Oh my god. We didn't have to let him get a block here. Once he blocks, he gets rallies. I guess we can just let Galio through.
Are you lost too?
Okay. So we'll still have 2 units after this. And then next turn, regardless of what he does, like, we have to be hitting more stuff, right? I mean, we've got 4 portals in the top 3, and then we're drawing 3 cards next turn, so we've got to hit something out of this. Oh god, he hits Steam. You gotta hitting these dumb these dumb units from the Husk units is such a pain in the ass when you're trying to fill out the board. Alright, I think we're okay now, though. Let's just play it all out. I'll take Galio's Formidable away, and then I think we're going to be good. I think we did it, fam. I think we fought through the Balins and made it out the other side. Whew. The fuck is this thing? Kahiri? What a shitty 5-cost unit. What a shitty unit. Alright, GG, well played. Can pull this up and talk about it a little bit more. And so, wild set of games, right? That was kind of crazy how some of those went. It's one of those things, again, like I know I didn't explain it too well in the early point as to where like the speed of the decks and where this kind of fits in, right? And so what you're trying to do typically with, say, with a Norra deck is you want to be up against stuff like Pirates, to where you can just flood the board early and then just kind of grind out a bunch of card advantage. And then as the game kind of progresses and it's like turn 7 and your opponent doesn't have any units on board and you have like 2 dudes and you draw a Portal Palooza and things just kind of end from there since you just ground them out so well. But if you're playing against a Norra deck that, say, has Vhagar in it, they're just a little bit slower than you. And as these games grind on like that, when a lot of these games did, they have some kind of over-the-top removal spell at the end to just kill you. And then if you want to go a little bit slower, you'll have things like Cosmic Call. The Cosmic Call decks will just annihilate you. And if you want to, say, look at the kind of like Nasus deck Infinity Patrons is playing these days, like that deck's just going to come out and annihilate you as well. And so it's like a very like steep curve of what this deck is actually good against. And I'm a little bit worried about this. Like, I had higher hopes for this style of deck. I knew some of the brash units were going to be a bit problematic since we can't block them. And it's like, I don't care to play against Samira. I feel like we're good against Samira, but like the issues we had with some of those brash decks were pretty painful. And then also running into these spots to where the dumbass Wildfire deck's like, oh, cool, well, you can't kill me for 3 more turns. I guess I have more draws to divine card draw thing, and we'll just see how it goes from there. And so like I ultimately worry about this deck's ability to just kind of come in and close out games, as much as I do like the Janna package that runs through this. And so it's tough. I don't think it's a particularly good ladder grinder. Like I cleared out the bottom of Diamond, and now we're kind of like hee-hawing through the top ends of Diamond and not having a ton of success. And so it's probably just not that great of a deck, but it's something that I was considering really in terms of best of 3. And what I really want to kind of come out and accomplish in best of 3, to where you have more opportunities to, say, just ban out that one deck that's a lot slower than you and just better than you, and then you have a lot stronger matchups against the early game. But it's like, now that these early game aggressive style decks can draw fucking 9 cards in a game, it's the grind is a little bit tougher than it used to be, especially if you just like slip up at some point. And so I don't know. I can continue to grind with this a little bit more. I feel like I've got the deck in a good spot. Like, if you look at the Norra Janna decks that you're going to find on runeterra.ar, they're playing things like Bubbling Bag or whatever that thing is called, and those decks are all just trash. But I think we've kind of taken the deck into a space to where it's starting to look better and better. I just don't think that better and better is getting it to being good enough. And so we'll see. Like, I think this deck would have been like a superstar in a pirate style of meta, but now that we're in this space to where the aggro decks just have so much reach, I worry about this deck's ability to succeed. So, nonetheless, good set of games. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So, I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way, and you had a good time watching. So this is Bust, and we thank you for being here.